Hello, everyone. It is time for your clarity reading between you and your divine masculine. We're going to take a little look into your shared energy, kind of where you're at in your relationship with each other, maybe what's going on a little with the karmic situations, if you guys are both in karmic relationships, or maybe just one of you is in a karmic relationship. But we're going to kind of take a look at what's going on, just kind of generally and overall in both of your lives. So this first card that we're going to look at is, what are the biggest fears and distractions for the both of you when it comes to this relationship? And for this, we have Six of Cups in reverse. So with Six of Cups in reverse, it looks like probably the biggest obstacle or distraction, maybe fears that you guys are dealing with, all stem from things that have happened in the past. Things that have happened in the past between the two of you, things that have happened in the past from prior relationships, family of origin. I think it also has a lot to do with potential fear of the future. But that fear of the future is absolutely still stemming from fears that were created in the past. There's probably some unrealistic expectations that have been cultivated due to these fears from traumas and negative experiences that neither one of you want to repeat. And I have a feeling that the two of you trigger the heck out of each other, because it's like your trauma triggers their trauma triggers your trauma. There's like a mirroring for sure between the two of you. Like, I've seen this happen in my relationship. The things that trigger my fiance will sometimes turn around and trigger certain things that have happened to me, and it's completely like they're like seemingly unrelated, yet it's like a triggering moment for both of us. And so with this journey, there's like a purpose in that, right? It's because it's something that we learn how to have like insight into who we are, into ourselves, and why we do what we do. If we can do that, then we can start to see around our own egos, and we don't get tripped up so much. Like, we can kind of see the connection there. We can see how maybe us being triggered by something triggers a certain kind of core wound in our partner. Or if they've gotten upset about something and it's triggered a core wound in us, we can see how that's a mirroring, and how we can actually use that to heal. We can use that to heal ourselves, and in our response and in our reaction, because it will be more conscious, will actually ultimately help to heal them as well through the proper communication, not arguing and fighting, but instead proper communication. So, and when you cannot have proper communication with your divine masculine, which we all know happens a lot because of separation, know that that separation is happening for a reason, and that means it's time for you to just kind of focus on your side of things. Okay, take that time when the universe gives it to you, because there's a purpose and a reason for it. So where should you both focus instead? Okay, where should that attention be directed to rather than to the fear? And for this, we have the Devil in reverse. So with Devil in reverse, there's definitely, this is pointing toward like healing, recovery, leaving abusive situations behind, focusing on what's truly important, things that bring you joy and happiness, connection through physical touch, through, that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be sexual, but just through like a hug or a hand on the shoulder or, touching someone's cheek. Focus on like true intimacy through communication, through giving each other time and space, through empathy and compassion. When we can give that to ourselves, it's so much easier to turn around and give it to someone else. And relationships need intimacy and compassion. And a lot of times people think of intimacy as something sexual, and it's, of course, sexuality is very, very intimate and it should be regarded with respect, but it's not just like that sexual connection and attraction. It's so much deeper than that. True intimacy is allowing yourself to be vulnerable and allowing space for someone else to be vulnerable as well. So that's where the attention should be focused, is, giving each other space to be where you need to be, like where you're at right now, coming with an open mind and an understanding heart toward each other. And it has to start with one. And sometimes if we don't feel that that's going to be reciprocated on the other side, it makes us want to put our defenses up, especially when there's a lot of fear involved. But it's through cultivating like a sense of value from within and not needing it from without that we can kind of actually like step beyond that or transcend that, where we don't need them to react and respond a certain way in order for us to be able to be open and vulnerable. And then once that barrier is broken by one person, the other person can kind of put their dukes down too and like take a step back and say, okay, maybe I can be vulnerable also. When they see your heart soften, then theirs can soften as well. When we are defensive, it's always because of past fears from experiences of, and traumas that we've been through. Even if it's that we're, fearful of the future, that fear of the future really does actually come from a fear of the past. So it's really self-awareness, which is why this is your journey, Divine Feminine. You've got to move inward and focus on your spiritual journey. Make this journey all about you. And then what happens with Divine Masculine, all those puzzle pieces will just organically fall into place as they're meant to. Because, they will do it for themselves and you will do it for you. That's really the only thing that you can do, is focus on yourself in those situations. And of course, I don't mean in a selfish way, like screw them, I hate them. Like not like that. Like, you know what, I'm going to give them space to go through whatever it is that they need to go through, even if I don't understand it. And I'm going to focus on myself and becoming the best version of myself and really understanding my own needs, desires, wants, shadows, all that stuff. Okay, so this next card is past experiences to let go of. Okay, so we're going to look at past experiences to let go of here, which is 5 of Cups. And so with 5 of Cups, this card is representative of loss, regret, grief, feelings of abandonment, feeling unloved. These are things that come up oftentimes through family of origin, right? We don't get our needs met in certain ways, every single one of us, because we are in an imperfect world with imperfect parents and imperfect teachers and imperfect mentors, and we are also imperfect ourselves. We don't always get our needs met, and this can create a lot of core wounds within us, and that can all that can like lead us to addictions, abandonment issues, codependency, a lot of fear of relationships, certain types of attachment styles like anxious attachment or avoidant attachment styles. I mean, it can even lead to toxic narcissism and toxic empathy. I need to do a video about that because we focus a lot on toxic narcissism, but what we oftentimes don't do, especially in the spiritual community, is focus on what toxic empathy is, because there's two sides to every coin. Narcissism and empathy are traits that we all possess, but in a healthy and balanced range, they can both serve higher purposes. But if they're not balanced, then they can both serve lower purposes as well, right? A toxic empathy example would be, being a doormat, not sticking up for yourself, seeking validation and acceptance from those that don't value us, right? Placing our value outside of ourselves in the hands of others and not knowing our own value. That can leave us very vulnerable to narcissistic types of, imbalanced narcissistic personality types, right? A form of healthy narcissism would be just self-preservation, actually caring about yourself, putting yourself in a position of knowing your value and your worth, right? Making sure that people don't take advantage of you. That's a healthy range, right? Everything has a healthy and an unhealthy range. And so what you got to let go of and what they need to let go of is experiences that have created, you can't get rid of the experiences, right? But you can really, through like self-inquiry, look at the perception of those experiences, and then look at the perception of how they've caused you to start to interact, and see if there's unhealthy patterns that have developed as a result. And then really like look at that stuff. It takes time. This is not an overnight process. We've all got these wounds. They're all different for all of us. It's up to us as adults to identify them and then to heal them. And this is a journey of healing, right? This is a journey of healing and transcendence and ascension. And in order for us to ascend, we have to be able to go in and heal ourselves. Oftentimes when we heal ourselves, then we become healers to others as well. But you have to be able to heal yourself first, okay? All right, so this next card is useful past experiences, okay? What are the kinds of useful past experiences that can maybe kind of help you balance out some of the negative, right? You and your divine masculine. And for this, we have King of Swords in reverse. So this is an interesting card to come up in this position, because it's kind of a negative card, right? Like this card is a representation of corruption, con men, abuse, bribery, lying, dishonesty, right? And I feel that the reason that this card has come up in this place is where we're talking about useful past experiences, is this is the core of like what this relationship with your twin flame is really all about, which is transcendence. It's alchemy. It's turning lead into gold. So these lower experiences, these poor experiences that have happened here and here, that this is like the duality right here of this, okay? We've got, negative and negative. And why is this coming up in the positive, like what to let go of, right? Like positively let go of, and then to negatively look at like, okay, what is it like, sorry, I'm tripping over my words here. I'm trying to explain this in the best way that I can. This is a negative card in a positive position. So what does that mean? Taking the negativity, the lower lead, like lower base experiences, and alchemizing them. What do we do with that? How do we do that? We, first of all, learn the power of forgiveness, which isn't to condone the behavior, but instead to not be victimized by it anymore, which means letting go of the anger and the hatred and the resentment and the frustration and the anxiety from the experience, so that you're not bound and harmed by those inner feelings anymore. So forgiveness is for you. It's not for them, for whoever it is that hurt you, or for whoever it is that hurt your divine masculine. It's forgiveness so that you can move forward and alchemize that. And then you can, at that point, look at what was the lesson that I can take from this. Because sometimes it's so important for us to know what we don't want so that we can really refine and hone in on what we do want. And so that's alchemy, that's transmutation, that's, transcending the negative up into the higher, more like elevated, higher vibrational aspects of self. We all have negative experiences, but if we are able to take those negative experiences and turn them into something positive by learning from them and then healing ourselves, and then, even maybe stepping out and helping others do the same, right? We bring our light into this world and we're no longer affected by those things. And so that's why I think this card is coming out in this position, okay? Because to take something negative and to turn it into something positive is a spiritual talent. It's wisdom. It's the purpose of this journey. So look at, it's a change in perspective, right? We've been talking a lot about perspective. A change in perspective would mean to take an old experience that was negative and to turn it into something useful instead. Okay, I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say. I may have over-explained that, but I really wanted you guys to understand why, and I wanted to make sure I was clear on why that card is coming out in that position. All right, so this next card is what to cultivate, okay? What should you and your divine masculine cultivate going forward now in the present moment and going forward in your future present moments? And so for this, we have the World in reverse. So permanence, letting unfinished lessons be resolved. Realizing that sometimes when there feels like there's like a delay in a situation, or when things feel like they're not moving quickly enough, or your mind kicks in with, well, you're just not good enough, or you're too slow, or you're just never going to get this. It's there's a higher reason, okay? There's a higher purpose. You're always exactly where you're meant to be. Truthfully, that's the case. Like, this life is about lessons. It's about learning. It's about growing and expanding in experience and wisdom and cultivating, that consciousness of your soul. And so when things feel like you're treading through quicksand, or things just don't feel like they're moving quickly enough, or you feel like you just can't ever learn fast enough, realize that it's happening that way for a reason. There is a valid purpose and divine reason behind what seems like a delay. And as you get a little further down the path and you look back in hindsight, you'll see, okay, it wasn't out of, that this whole situation did happen the way that it was meant to. I was jumping on these different stepping stones, and this one seemed like it was out of place. But now that I'm further down the path, I realize it was exactly where it was meant to be. And so you and your divine masculine are definitely where you're supposed to be right now, even if your mind is telling you otherwise. Like, oh, we shouldn't be in separation, or we should be together a certain way, or it should look a certain way. Cultivate a new mindset, a new perspective, where it's coming from trust and faith in the universe, that you are seen, you are heard, you are loved, you are held exactly where you're meant to be. God, the universe, your higher self, always knows where you're at, even when you're in, the darkest of places. You're never lost, okay? Because those higher aspects of yourself, the universe, God, always know where you are, okay? And it's just a lesson, even though it's difficult sometimes. Okay, so next steps for you guys. What can we expect? Next steps for you are the Chariot. This is a really good card. for you guys. When you see inspired action, take it. Or an opportunity for inspired action, take it. Okay? You'll be able to tell the difference, especially as you continue to keep moving through this journey, the difference between ego and intuition. You're going to be kind of put through the fire of learning and understanding that. The universe knows exactly how to bring that out within you and to teach you those lessons. And you are going to have opportunities that are going to show up for both of you. And you're just going to know. You may not even be able to explain why, but you will know. You'll just have that knowing within you, like, I'm meant to do this. It could be that you need to relocate somewhere, or that you need to leave a job or a relationship. And you may not be able to make sense of it. You might feel somewhat confused on a mental level, but in your heart and deep within, you'll know that it's the right thing to do. And so the next steps for you are to really hone in on that intuition. Your divine masculine will do the same. You don't have to worry about making that happen for them. You two are one at the core, so you can rest assured that as you're doing it, the universe is taking care of it on that end as well, okay? And so, you don't have to worry about trying to make something happen for them, because the universe has both of your backs, okay? Your deepest, innermost desires and everything are already known by the universe, okay? And what it is that you need is already known, okay? Everything's happening for you, not to you. It's a good one to remember. All right, so this next card is inner strength. Inner strength for both you and your divine masculine. For this, we have 9 of Swords. 9 of Swords. So nightmares, anxiety, grief, depression are things that both of you have experienced throughout your life. Not only this, of course, it's just moments and periods of time like this. But when we start to alchemize and change our perspectives on things and realize that our thoughts are things, that our perspective matters, and we start to become conscious creators, which means we are mastering over the thoughts and not letting the thoughts master over us. We can't get rid of our ego. Sometimes people think that, ego death means that you have no ego anymore, that it died, that it's gone. But the ego is never gone. It's an aspect, right? Just because I put my arm behind my back doesn't mean that my arm no longer exists, right? It's a transcendence of the ego. It's a recognition of what it is and then no longer following it like the Pied Piper, right? We're taking charge as the soul and recognizing that that's what we are. And so we transcend the ego. And it's called ego death, but it's really just a transcendence of the ego. And so as you guys have gone through this, like you start to realize that a lot of the fears were just illusions. A lot of the terrible situations that were created came from false perspectives and false illusions that we fed into, that we bought into. Now, this is a process that takes a lot of time and a lot of presence, mindfulness practice, meditation, for it to really start to make sense and to reveal itself to you. But you'll start to see and hone in on that bullseye, and you won't miss the mark anymore, okay? And that's a really good thing for both you and your divine masculine. You guys are in that process of transcending the old and moving into the new. And really, it's actually not a new, it's what already is. It's a shedding of all of the false illusions that have kept you from remembering the truth of who you really are at the core, and that you've always been, and that can't be given, taken away, or altered. Okay, so this last card is outside help, advisors. Who can you both turn to for help? And again, this is going to vary between you and your divine masculine. It's not going to be exactly the same for both of you. But for this, we have 6 of Swords. So again, we have like potentially relocating somewhere. But relocation doesn't necessarily just mean physical relocation. It could be like a complete change in like self-perception, which ultimately will lead you to a completely different external experience. To have a different external experience, we first have to change the internal experience, because it's the internal experience that creates the external through perception and what we believe in. And then it eventually turns into solid matter. And so we get experiences based upon that. And, you know, we talk a lot about this in the group calls, and we really break this stuff down. You know, it really comes down to understanding universal laws and understanding your relationship as a soul to the material world of form, to recognize that you are a creator and that you are that center point of your own universe. And you master over that, and you can create a life that is amazing. Okay? And so the places that you guys can go to for that is first and foremost within, right? Focusing on your spiritual journey, really tuning into who you really are, you know, using your own discernment first through God, okay, through source. That's an inner thing, okay? You can have mentors, you can have guides, you can have stuff like that, but nothing ever should be placed above your connection to God, to source, whatever you choose to call that. You know, the creator, the oneness of all things, the all. There's different names, but we're all pointing at the same thing. And so to have that inner discernment and to never be misled, we have to have that inner guidance that only can be provided by that internal source of creation. I like to say God. But I think you guys know what I mean. So, you know, that way when you run across teachers or tarot readings or books and, you know, friendships and family members' advice and, you know, all the different places that we can get information, you have to have inner discernment. Okay? Nothing and no one should be placed above your connection and guidance as the conduit for God. All right? Anyone that wants to place themselves above you is a false prophet, a false, you know, leader, and should be avoided. Okay? It's just my personal opinion. We're all equals here. We're all here together. We're all part of this oneness, and no one is better than anyone else. And our only true guidance comes from within, that inner compass. And the true north of that inner compass is God. And you're connected to that through that inner being that you are, okay? All right, let's get you guys a oracle card. Hope you guys enjoyed the reading today. Let's take a look at our cosmic journey here. I don't know why, but this one just seems like a good fit for today's reading, so that's what we'll go with. If you guys have not already done so and you like our readings, please hit like and subscribe. It really, really helps us get out there and connected to more people, and we're super grateful when you guys do. It really means a lot to us. We do have some specials right now, 40% off of all tarot readings, including our live tarot reading, which is about 2.5 hours long, and it's, you know, you get to sit with me live on a personal reading with it. You can ask as many questions as you want. It's kind of like a one-on-one / tarot reading. And they're so good, you guys. They're phenomenal. when we do them. It's really, really, really informative, and we get an opportunity to go really deep. They always turn out beautiful. And then we also have 30, 60, and 90-minute video tarot readings. And then we have one-on-ones that are 30% off. So those coupon codes are in the description box below. It's a great time to do that. We do have group calls as well that are as little as $20 a month. And we go into some really cool stuff in those group calls. So, and there's a wonderful network of people that would love to have you join and be there. So check that out. All right, here's our card. Allow your work to become your art. Okay, so let's take a look and see what this has to say about that. But kind of have a feeling that I might know where it's going. All right, so you've now been given the choice of what kind of work will truly become your art. It's up to you. See, this is your mission, Divine Feminine. You and your Divine Masculine are already on a mission together, okay? It's already there. You're already there. You don't need to, it's happening for you already as we speak. There's nothing you have to do. It's more of an allowance, like I said. It's up to you. You are limited only by how much courage you can muster to fully explore what this can mean. You must merge your head, heart, and highest purpose to bring everything to bear, from the business model to the impact you wish to make. Envision the business love story you want the world to buy. Who is your perfect customer? What do they wake up thinking about? What keeps them up at night? Where can you find them? What purpose do they want to serve in the world more than anything else? The more specific you can get about the details, the better. Build the damn thing already, because your dream customers are waiting to fall in love. Cosmic catalyst. If I could truly do anything in the world to make it my art, what would it be? Cosmic checkbox. Check or create a logo for a new imaginary company that combines a higher purpose with your artistic expression. For those of you that have been feeling a push or a pull or something that you're being guided toward that you should create, I think this is your card kind of urging you and nudging you to take those action steps, that inspired action that we talked about earlier, to make it happen. Again, don't worry about your Divine Masculine's role in all of this. They're already playing it, and there's nothing you need to do, because that will all come together as it's meant to. You just focus on yourself and bring that into this world. And for those of you that are not necessarily looking to start your own business, there's still something within you, within your community, within your family. You might be someone who's here to break, family or generational curses, right? Where it's, the sins of the father are passed on to the child, right? Where it's, are oftentimes, abuse that's passed down from generation to generation to generation, It's someone that comes in that goes through a spiritual awakening that is able to transcend that and to stop that from happening for future generations, and to create like a spark of healing within that family. That could be what you feel pulled toward right now, and it could be that it's helping someone in your family or your children or something achieve something of their goals, right? Like maybe you're playing a supportive role for someone. There's a lot of different ways that this could come out. It could even be that you are an artist. Maybe you make beautiful paintings, or you create crafting materials, and create all kinds of things with that. Maybe you've wanted to start a YouTube channel. Maybe you do pottery or photography. There's so many different ways that this could affect you in your mission. But this is all about the mission that you're here. And that, again, could evolve over time, right? But you're going to know, you're going to have that knowing, like we talked about, And again, your divine masculine is going to go through all this too, but in their own way. And you will see a crisscrossing of your paths along that journey of how that all ends up tying in together and how the two of you kind of spur each other on. Okay, let go of expectation and just allow it to take its course, allow it to happen. And when inspired action crosses your path, take it. Okay? I love you guys. I hope this reading resonated with you. I'd love to hear your comments about it in the comments box below. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.